Hello everyone, I'm James Milan. Welcome to this Town Hall update. I am joined by Jim Feeney, our Town Manager, to discuss a number of things today, as always. We'll be talking about a new multilingual language line, and also that Arlington has once again scored 100 in the Human Rights Campaign's Municipal Equity Index. Great news there. Couple of park updates, but let's start with the fact that, we are nosing into 2025, and before we know it, town meeting's going to be here. What do you have to tell us about that?
That's right, James. So, starting at the finish line, town meeting begins on Monday, April 28th, but really now the town meeting season starts in earnest. So the select board has opened what we call the warrant, which outlines what business the town is going to do during its town meeting session. So that opened today, December 5th, and the warrant will close Friday, January 31st at noon. So during this period of time, residents can submit warrant articles to the office of the select board. As a reminder, to submit an article, you just need the signatures of 10 registered voters here in town. And really our warrant articles range across any number of topics, and we look forward to seeing what residents put forth this year. We just, as every year, encourage folks to check in with the Office of Town Council prior to submission, just to be able to review the proposed language, determine if there may be any preemption issues, and just make sure that the warrant article is structured in the right way. So that service is available to residents in sort of the lead up to the closing of the warrant. If they have any questions on submitting a warrant article or to access the information in the packet for doing so, that can be downloaded on our website, either the select board or town meeting page.
I do have a question, actually. I'd like to just follow up on one thing you said, which is, what is, for those who it may not be clear for, when you say preemption issues, a reason to consult with the town council, what are preemption possibilities? So
preemption issues, you may recall that every warrant article that gets approved by town meeting then gets forwarded to the municipal law unit of the Attorney General's office. And one of the items they're looking at is preemption issues. And what that, mostly means is the local government trying to regulate something in a manner that they shouldn't because it is being regulated elsewhere, right? Does the state legislature or, some other body have the ability, the sort of sole ability to regulate that topic? So we would be preempted from doing so at the local level because it may conflict.
Great. Thanks for that clarification. Appreciate that. Next topic is the multilingual language line that I mentioned. And I'll just preface this by saying I was very impressed by the number of languages that election materials came to our doors in this time. I think I counted it up and it was, 30 languages or something like that. Really super comprehensive. Gave you the feeling that, people, our local government is really trying to make sure that this is accessible in the best way to the largest number of people. Really liked that. So anyway.
Thank you so much, James, for acknowledging that. I think, language access has been an issue of interest, and it has been a priority of our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Division. So, if you've been on our website and you received voting materials in different languages, if you've been on our website, we have been putting important documents and translating them into what we call threshold languages. So we are trying to take steps to have our information be more accessible to those whose primary language may not be English. But with respect to this specific language line, which is just another element of our language access initiative, it intends to help community members who speak different languages get information, services, and support from the town. And it's, all someone needs to do is call this new number, which is going to be 617-865-2273. They will listen to the list of languages, which is exhaustive, follow various prompts, and essentially they're going to be connected with an interpreter who will then contact the correct department at Town Hall or elsewhere and serve as an interpreter, for relaying information back and forth. So we're just trying to remove those barriers for access and making sure that people can get the information or services they need from the town of Arlington. So, thank Teresa Marzilli, who's our sort of interim head of the Diversity and Equity Inclusion Division, for having spearheaded all of our language access initiatives, and we look forward to seeing what's next.
Well, it's impressive, it's inclusive. These are the things we want around here for sure. Speaking of things we want around here, and I may have kind of buried the lead to some degree in my introduction before when I said, once again, because my recollection is that we have scored well on the Municipal Equality Index in the past as well. But please tell us about this year's results.
Indeed, spot on. So in other sort of DEI-related news, the Human Rights Campaign Foundation released its annual Municipal Equality Index scores for 2024. Arlington has been on the list for 6 years, but this will be our 5th year scoring 100. So this index, the MEI as we call it, examines how inclusive municipal laws, policies, and services are in cities and towns across the country, and generally how they support their LGBTQIA+ communities or residents. So, we're proud to again have scored at the sort of highest echelon. That really is the highest mark that's attainable on this particular index. And we've largely done that by being inclusive and continuing to create inclusive policies and practices. And of course, it takes a lot of people to put these activities into practice. And that, just isn't staff like in the DEI division, but it's also our volunteer community, especially those who serve on our Rainbow Commission, who work tirelessly day in and day out to make Arlington an inclusive community. So, kudos to them. A big part of where we are today is because of their past efforts, but also ongoing efforts.
Great. And, basically more good news as well, in that you've got updates to share around a couple of parks. Very beloved here in Arlington.
Very much so. So yes, we'll talk about one park that has just opened, but another park that will be closing. So Parallel Park, which for folks that don't know, sits on the corner of Medford and Parallel Streets, over sort of on the Medford border. That park is next to undergo a renovation. So construction fencing will be going up any day now, and the whole park will be fenced off during construction, obviously for safety reasons. And construction will begin in earnest, and we anticipate completion, hopefully summer of what would now be 2025. So this renovated park will have updated picnic and play areas. It will have a new basketball court that includes a youth hoop. It'll have an off-leash dog recreational area and, sort of a number of amenities. It'll sort of serve a number of interests. So obviously we're going to thank folks for their patience while we undergo these improvements. Of course, we have a number of parks in town. If that is your local park, we invite you to try out one of our other recreational assets in town. A full list is on our website. There are a number of them.
Great. Yeah. I mean, you said the announcement is about closing the park, but of course it's a temporary closing in order to improve things. So, and to add amenities that weren't maybe there before. So, again, all moving in the right direction, it seems like. One of the other parks people could check out would be Robbins Farm. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I like to consider that sort of our flagship park. It is definitely one of our most popular amenities here in town, and it has since reopened to the public after a fairly lengthy construction project. So on Saturday, November 23rd, the rain did not deter, over 200 people from turning out for the ribbon cutting. And as we've described in the past, this is Arlington's first playground that utilizes universal design principles and is intended to be accessible for individuals with all varying abilities across the spectrum. So while I was not able to attend the event, I heard many good things about the event, and was just hearing this morning about the joy that was on every kid's face as that ribbon was cut and the fence opened in a few different areas, and children just descended on the different play elements, and it was just great to hear about it. Of course, we were eager to get the park open. You know, it was a complex project. It had been closed down for some period of time. There still are some things that will trickle in over time. It's what we call the punch list. So we will continue to complete those things. And, you know, there may have been items on back order or with really long lead times. We didn't want to let that deter us from, you know, using the, you know, most of the park for public good. So you'll continue to see little tweaks here and there as the contractor returns to do little punch list items, but all are invited to come play. And, you know, I have to acknowledge this, you know, this was a big and complex project. So to bring this new playground to reality involved a lot of different people as well as a transition. So extend my thanks to, you know, Arlington Recreation Directors, both past and present, you know, formerly Joe Connolly and now Natasha Waden. They were, you know, they manage these park projects on behalf of the town, and they do so in consultation and collaboration with the Park and Recreation Commission. Here, of course, the Friends of Robbins Farm Park was heavily involved and helped raise funds and donated them to the town to make sure that we got exactly what we desired to get. Of course, the Community Preservation Act Committee committed significant funding to this project. And one resident in particular, Julia Kennerson, was sort of the, what I'll call the ADA champion for this project, and really drove those universal design principles to make this park really accessible to all. So, of course, there was many community members, local businesses, everyone rallied around this playground project and made this opening event a reality. So, you know, thanks to everyone who were involved. This is really just a great example of like a true community project.
Yeah, and no surprise to you or to our audience, ACMi was there for the ribbon cutting, and it was some yucky weather conditions.
Right.
But I have seen, gotten a glimpse of the footage that will be in our newscast this week, and what you just described about those kids, it's very palpable in that footage. You know, and it's great, super heartwarming. Doesn't matter about the rain at all. You could just the excitement carried a lot of people. So very well done. I know that, you know, for many of us, we're now done with Thanksgiving. We're moving towards, you know, getting ready for the rest of the holidays, et cetera. Business can slow down in some places, not town hall. I know that. Lots of business, lots of business to do before the end of the calendar year. So appreciate your being here. Just did want to ask you, though, even in the middle of this busy time, you've shared a bunch with us. Anything else you'd like to add?
Sure, there is one other thing, and, you know, I hate to close on a sad note, but I did want to acknowledge the passing of Arlington's former town manager, Mr. Donald Marquis. He passed away last month at the age of 90. Mr. Marquis served as town manager from 1966 to the year 2000, a 34-year tenure that, as I understand it, ranks among the longest in the state across this profession, and there are 351 cities and towns, so it's really remarkable. He was sort of a legend in the field, and you know, I feel a bit unfortunate that I never did get to work with him or meet him, but I did want to acknowledge him and the legacy that he has. It can be seen in sort of all corners of Arlington, but most prominently is, you know, the Minuteman Bike Trail, you know, the bike path. We know it by many different things, but it is actually named in his honor. It is officially the Donald R. Marquis Minuteman Trail, and I can think of no better sort of item to highlight a man whose professional career spanned that many decades and who did so much good for this town. So,
yeah, I assume you're not going to be thinking about competing with a 34-year tenure at this point.
I think that will be unheard of in
right.
this in profession moving forward.
That's right. I would imagine so. Yeah. So yes, all due respect to the memory of Don Marquis. Great words that you were able to share with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. All right, I think that will do it for us. I have been speaking with Jim Feeney. He is our town manager for this town hall update. Always appreciate Jim's time coming up here and sharing things with us. We appreciate yours as well. I'm James Milan. We'll see you again.